Spirit. So welcome to the Empower Room, and let's get started.
Well, welcome to the Empower Room, and so glad to have you all with us in the Empower Room for Empowering Moments on this Sunday. And hope you're having a good Sunday afternoon today. And just so glad to be able to have this platform that we have through Empower Media, and hope everyone is having a blessed day today. It's here in Texas. It's a pretty decent day and had a lot of rain overnight and storms and all that good stuff. But well, electricity was off for a minute, but we're back up and running. So again, we welcome you to the Empower Room for Empowering Moments with your host, Reverend Timothy Hughes and Div. Please like our page, send an emoji, leave a comment. Share our page and follow us. We really would appreciate it. Also, go by Rev T to keep it short and sweet. And we are Empowering Moments is a platform to promote Empower Media LLC, sharing cultural, civic, and inspirational moments with special guests from all over the world. And we are blessed to have a wonderful guest, actually two guests from St. Louis today, and excited to be able to introduce them to you in just a few minutes. And just to tell you a little bit about Empower Media LLC, Empower Media LLC is a social empowerment entity, and we empower community through social and digital media, book publishing, programs, and spatial speaking engagements. We have over 25 years of experience, so we want to encourage you to stop by our website, which is empowermediallc1.com, and that's empower spelled a little differently than you would normally hear it, and it's spelled MPWR Media LLC1.com. Again, M as in Mary, PWR Media LLC1.com. All right, so check us out, and you'll be able to see the menu of services that we provide throughout. Through Empower Media. We also have our store where we'll be sharing some information with you at the end of the show in regard to what we have available to the community as well. All right. So today we have two special guests that we're going to be talking with today. We have Mr. Johnson Lancaster from Progressive Emporium and Educational Center out of St. Louis, Missouri. This is a phenomenal center that I hope a lot of the St. Louis community is aware of. And without further ado, I would like to bring on Mr. Johnson Lancaster, who is representing Progressive Emporium, and bring him on right now.
Afternoon. How's everybody?
Hello. All right, Johnson Lancaster, how you doing?
Doing well. How about yourself?
All right, all right, all right, all right. So I wanted to share some information with folks in regard to Progressive Emporium. I'm sure in the St. Louis area, a lot of people may already be familiar with you. And I know the more familiar location that people are most familiar with Progressive Emporium is when it was in the Loop on Delmar. So I just wanted to give a little information to those that are maybe here in the Dallas area that may be wanting to go to St. Louis or have some connections to St. Louis. And Progressive sells an assortment of African American books, holistic food items, vitamins, alkaline water, spiritual bath washes, candles, incense, African art, organic juices, African artifacts, unique cultural gift items, Afrocentric t-shirts, greeting cards, cultural calendars, colorful totes, and much, much more. They also specialize in providing out of print books and DVDs about African and African American culture and lifestyle. They provide educational services. Progressive provides a range of cultural activities such as Kwanzaa celebrations, Black History programs, Black Love Day celebrations, health and wellness, a variety of good things that are beneficial to the community. And also, I see you guys conduct seminars and also do author book signings and St. Louis. You highlight St. Louis artists, performers for the community, and just a wide range of services and activities that you all have been doing for quite a while. So, Mr. Lancaster, how long have you all been providing these services to the community?
Well, before the Progressive Emporium was established, a
Mm-hmm.
group of artists and educators and uh, and other professionals came together and formed something called the Sudan Illustrators Incorporated, which
Okay.
at the time was a theatrical ensemble that produced plays and had an African drumming and dance troupe.
That's it.
So what we would do during the performances is we would have items we'd make items available for our audience, and many of the items that you mentioned were the items we would have during our performances, during the intermissions. And people would
Mm.
ask us at the time where our store was, and we would look at each other and say, "We're doing this out of the trunk of a car." so, at
Mm.
one point, one of the homes of one of our members served as home base for Progressive Books at the time. That's what we were called. And in 1980, well, before 1980, what would happen is people would come by the house, knock on the basement door, and we'd let them in and open up a closet and show them what we had in the closet, and they would make their
Mm.
selections.
Mm.
Um, Eventually, in 1981, we were able to co-locate with a Black independent school known as the Frederick Douglass Institute in a building on 2612 North Kings Highway.
That's it.
The Frederick Douglass Institute had the back of the space, and we had the front of the space.
Okay.
We were co-located for about 2 years, and then we moved to the U City Loop in 1982.
Wow.
And
Okay.
we were there. We were there for 17 years.
17 years. Wow.
17 years,
Wow.
and then we went on a brief hiatus. Some people
Mm.
call it a long hiatus because we didn't reopen again until 2013. Uh,
Okay.
but we are now located in a revitalized neighborhood called the North Sarah Vanderbilt neighborhood at 1108 North Sarah between Finney and Cook.
Okay.
And we're part of
Okay. And how's? Go
we're,
ahead.
we're part of an effort, a grassroots effort by that community to revitalize itself. And
Awesome.
we were able to get in on the ground floor of a brand new apartment building uh,
Mm.
in space that is mainly uh, designed to be a commercial space.
That's
And
it.
we're serving this revitalized neighborhood, and we are very happy to be in that situation. We've been
That's
there now
great.
since 2013.
Awesome. Since 2013. That's great. That's great. So, for those of y'all that may not know, Progressive Emporium Education Center is at 1108 North Sarah Street in St. Louis, Missouri. When I was last there on the visit, I had the wonderful opportunity to sit with Mr. Lancaster and talk about Johnson about Progressive Emporium, and I knew of Progressive Emporium from when it was on Euclid. We do have a history to be for people to know, and I'm so glad that they are still providing the educational resources that they are providing. I enjoy your new location. It's like you said, it's a revitalization that's taking place in that part of St. Louis City, which is beautiful to see. And just want you guys, to please keep up the good work, keep doing what you're doing, and I'm truly impressed with your new location. So for those of y'all that may not know, they are doing a new thing since 2013. Is that correct?
That's correct. And
Okay, 2013. Okay.
and one of the things that I'd like to uh, emphasize right now is that because of COVID and the fact that we have an all volunteer staff, we are not
Hmm.
entertaining any in-store traffic right now. However,
Okay.
that did compel us to launch a website, and so now we have a website, progressiveemporiumstl.com, where people can go and they can view our selections and also purchase items, and then we can either ship them or have people come and pick them up. And so
Awesome.
that has helped us pretty much endure the current pandemic.
Okay, that's good. That's good. That's good. And I know a lot of people had to come up with innovative ways to keep the doors open and all that. And I'm glad that possibility and that opportunity worked out for you guys to be able to do that. That's for sure in this current climate. Yeah. So in relation to from your perspective, I know that you all are deeply have a deep passion and concern about the African community. And I wanted to ask you, from your perspective, what would you say the state of African Americans are today, African American wise? And I know you guys go beyond that. You're about the African diaspora. And how would you like to answer that?
Well, that's a multifaceted question that deserves a
Right.
multifaceted answer.
Okay.
Uh, and so I'll approach it this way.
Okay.
We are a people that have survived colonialism, imperialism, the Holocaust of enslavement,
Hmm.
the scourge of Jim Crow and American apartheid, um,
Hmm.
and all through that we have managed to reestablish here in the Western Hemisphere some of the hallmarks of the fundamentals or concepts of civilization that we are responsible for, that were
Hmm.
grounded in the high civilizations of the continent of Africa. So uh, while that has been an epic story, there are still many challenges that our people have in regard to our sojourn here in the West. Um,
Yes.
we we endured through the civil rights struggle, and we were able to secure some concessions from the dominant society.
Hmm.
We were also able to make some economic and political and social gains, uh, and then we have suffered some setbacks. We still have the pernicious disease of white supremacy and racism, more graphically and vividly illustrated by the continual killing of unarmed black people by law enforcement. But we also
Hmm.
had the pathology in our own neighborhoods. Uh, Even though we have some quote unquote middle class enclaves, we still have areas that our people live in that are beset by poverty and crime and violence, and
Right.
we need to more fully address that situation in a self-sufficient, self-determined, uh, and self-sustainable way. Uh,
Understand. Understand.
so so I like to say, and I don't think I'm overstating it, is that we're still pretty
Hmm.
much having war waged against us by the dominant
Okay.
society, and
Okay.
we have been suffering casualties, but we have also been attempting to uh, bring about a turnaround in our
Right.
situation. Uh,
Right. Right.
and so
Yeah. That's interesting.
we
Go
have
ahead.
still have lots of work to do to
Right.
to fully bring our people into true freedom and liberation here, not just in the
Hmm.
Western Hemisphere, but uh,
Hmm.
still even on the African continent and in other parts of the world, in Europe, in Asia, in Russia, South America, the Caribbean. White supremacy and racism is something that we deal with. It's a global phenomenon. It's a global.
True.
It's almost. It's. I would say it's an epidemic that has been long lasting, and I liken it to a vampire that doesn't want to die, and we need to be able to put a stake in its heart and expose it to bright sunlight in order to fully eliminate it. So. That's
Man, what an analogy.
right
Okay, that's awesome. And I agree, man. It's multi-layered with the dynamic of what we are experiencing as a people. Like I said, across not only in the United States and across the world. My last trip to Ghana was a mission trip that I went on, and it was I had to do a reflection paper, and my reflection paper basically was that things aren't as they seem, because due to hospitality of my people that I engaged with over in Ghana both times was just overwhelming. And with the riches of the country of Ghana itself, I'm just it's just unbelievable the amount of struggle that the people of Ghana, West Africa, have to experience on a daily basis. So I was sharing with a friend of mine the other day, and we were talking about, it's like the world has an upside down type of way of dealing with stuff, and how it is socially, where things should not be the way they are. It's like upside down when we go to Jamaica, and you go to the touristy areas, but I like to mingle with the people from Jamaica, and the predominant people that you engage are struggling, which should not be the case in such a beautiful place. Everybody should be able to prosper, not just the people coming to visit and people that are running the hotels and things of that nature. Even the band that performed when we went for me and my wife's honeymoon was a reggae band, but it was a white reggae band and from America. So I was like, okay, this something wrong with this picture, Not saying they can't do reggae, but I'm in Jamaica, so I want authentic reggae music for those from the land of Jamaica. Hello, so yeah.
So
Yeah, but go ahead.
you're speaking to cultural misappropriation.
Yes.
What we have gifted to the world, okay, in terms of music and art and knowledge and science, has been turned around. It seems like everyone else is benefiting from it, but us.
Yes.
You don't turn around more than 500 years of oppression overnight. Many of the African countries have only been, quote unquote, free of colonialism and imperialism for about maybe 60 years.
Okay.
Many of the many of the countries in the Caribbean have only been free of imperialism and colonialism for just about the same amount of time, maybe a little bit longer.
That's right.
Our quest for freedom in the United States is an ongoing project. We are still second-class citizens here, and we're doing everything we can to reverse that situation.
Right.
So this is something that we'll be having to. This is our major challenge here in the 21st century.
Yes, for sure.
Is to deal with these great issues of our race, and to revive ourselves in a way that puts us back on the world stage. We have many lessons that we've had from the great movements of the past,
Mm-hmm.
Marcus Garvey's UNIA movement,
Mm-hmm.
the collective efforts we did after the Civil War during Reconstruction, the Civil
Mm-hmm.
Rights Movement, the
Right.
Black Arts Movement, the Black Power Movement.
Yes.
Currently, the latest expression of that is the Black Lives Matter movement.
Yes.
Um,
Right. Right. Right.
the very fact that we're still dealing with a lot of these same issues over and over again uh, is very troubling. Uh,
Right.
however, however, there's still quite a bit of optimism, quite a bit of hope. We have more elected officials than we've ever had before.
That's true.
Um, we were able to conquer our own illiteracy in this country and raise the level of educational attainment. Um,
Yes.
we we have been told by other Africans from other parts of the world that we're probably, uh, relatively speaking, the most prosperous and most fortunate of African populations. Um,
Mm.
However, if you look at the country of Nigeria, Nigeria is going to be the 14th largest economy in the world by 2040. Okay,
Really? I didn't know
that's
that.
something
Wow.
that's something that people need to keep in mind, especially because of the ties that we are cementing between us and them. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
this is the other thing that makes me optimistic is that we are uh, strengthening those ties
I
between
see.
us and
Okay.
the Africans in the diaspora, and we're doing
Okay.
things to try to coordinate and work together. Uh,
That's true. That's true. That
more,
is a good point.
Jessica Gordon Nimhard authored a great book called Collective Courage, which is a history of
Mm.
African American cooperative economics. And her
Mm.
main point, her main thrust of this work is that we've always moved forward when we've worked together, when we operated
Interesting.
together, and not just because of individual effort, individual
Right.
merit, uh, individual celebrity, or the recognition of great individual acts or accomplishments. What what has moved us forward as a people is when we have operated in a collective fashion. And
Understand.
that lesson is it was a hard lesson to learn, and many of us are
Mm.
still learning it. But
Right.
we can use that, okay, to
Right.
accelerate our progress and get back into a station and a standing in the world where we are more respected. Uh,
Understand. Understand. Well, I want to move on to the next question, Johnson, and it kind of encompasses. I mean, the as we talk about one of the blockades that we're experiencing right now is critical race theory. Uh, Foolishness is what I call it because it's not really what it is. So, in relation to just like that, and what I do is I rephrase it as African American history. The learning of African American history, or you can even say American history, because we're here and we've been here, since before 1619. But historically, I think that that's the real issue. So, how important would you say it is for African Americans to read about their history and to know about the culture, about our culture?
okay, this is a very significant question. Uh,
Okay.
One of the major accomplishments of Black people in the Western Hemisphere is that
Hmm.
after we um, learned a new language and became literate in that language, we began to
Mm.
document who we are. Okay, and this is extremely
Mm.
significant. Okay,
Okay.
and we built institutions to further that documentation. The historically Black colleges and universities.
True.
Um,
Right.
the At one time we had these independent boarding schools. We also
Mm.
in our own church denominations, we have our own schools that are run by our own church
Right.
denominations, uh,
Right.
and we built these institutions. And
Mm.
that's very critical because these institutions become repositories for our story and who we are.
Right.
Um,
Right.
Carter G. Woodson established the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History in
Mm.
1914. along with
Okay.
Drusilla Dungy Houston, Dorothy Porter, uh, Rayford Logan, Charles Addison Wesley, and a couple of other major historians, Chancellor Williams. They came together, and their main goal was to make sure that we were able to include our story in the overall epic story of world civilization.
Okay.
That was the main reason for the establishment of Negro History Week by the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History, what became Black History Month later on. Carter
Right.
G.
Right.
Carter G. Woodson's goal at the time, when he established all of that, was to make sure that we were included in the overall telling of global history. Okay,
Okay.
and our accomplishments and our achievements were documented and chronicled and placed in context with the forward human progress of the world. So, had it not been for their work and the work of subsequent historians like John Henry Clark, Marimba Ani,
Right.
Francis Cress Welsing,
Yes. Yes.
um, John G. Jackson,
Mm-hmm.
and Asa Hilliard and
Yes. Yes.
Jacob Carruthers,
Mm-hmm.
and Tony Browder and others like
Right.
them.
Right.
If it had not been for their continued work, we would not be sitting here today. What we did is we
True.
created something called Black Studies. Okay.
Okay.
And
Right.
we made institutions of higher education that were not Black adopt that as part of their curriculum. We created African-centered curriculum for the elementary and high school levels, and we made public schools adopt those curriculums. We are now in a situation where, in the case of the 1619 project, which makes us the center of a narrative about the telling of American history,
Yeah.
it has been distortedly described as critical race theory by
Yes. Exactly.
right-wing conservatives who are attempting to say that what we're doing is teaching division and sowing the seeds of the destruction of culture. Well, no, what we're doing is we're adding to the richness of the culture of the narrative, and what we're
Thank
doing
you.
is
Thank you.
making sure that we don't get omitted or erased from the actual telling of the history. Now, I'm
That's
sorry
true.
if the people who are critical of this movement don't like the fact that some of this is going to include their dirty laundry, okay, as well as
Hey,
uh, as well as
we all have dirty laundry.
as well as
You know.
the truth about the foundations of what became the United States of America.
hmm
They can't handle that. That's their
That's
problem.
sad.
That has
We're at a
nothing
crossroads, bro.
that has
We at a
nothing to
serious
do
crossroads.
right. That has nothing to do with making sure that the truth is out there. You know,
Right, right, right.
you have major educational institutions that were built by the selling of slaves, okay, who are now
Yes.
coming to grips with that. Georgetown
hmm
University is one. Harvard,
Yes, that's right.
Harvard and Princeton and Yale have had to be brought to the table about that. One
Yes.
time, I was attending a summer institute in Black Studies in Boston, Massachusetts, at
hmm
Northeastern University. Okay,
Okay.
and we did a tour of Boston. And that tour of Boston, we were able to show. We were shown at that time. This is back in 1992. That a lot
hmm
of the infrastructure in that city is only there because it was financed by the profits from the slave trade.
Wow.
Okay?
Wow.
That
Wow.
certain names on certain buildings are named after people who were major factors in the slave trade.
Interesting.
That the city that I'm in, the city of St. Louis, was a major slave trading center, and
hmm
its economic foundation was built on slavery. There's no escaping the fact that America's economic success, okay, was built on the enslavement of us. That's
Yes.
never been
Yes.
at dispute. Okay.
I
Now, what
understand.
is at dispute now is whether or not the subsequent generations of our people should receive reparations,
Right. Right.
that
Right.
shouldn't be any dispute at all.
I agree.
If the Japanese can get compensation for being held in concentration camps during World War II, okay,
Hmm.
if the Israelis can get compensation from Germany for the Holocaust in Germany that they experienced, okay,
Hmm. Hmm.
if the Native American here is starting to get redress for the taking of their land by the immigrant Europeans, then
Right.
why can't we as a people successfully petition for and receive reparations for what our ancestors experienced in the Holocaust of enslavement, and not just in the
Right.
United States, not just in the United States,
Hmm.
in the Caribbean,
Yes.
in South America, and Central America,
Right.
in
Right.
Europe,
Right. Yes.
in Russia, in Asia. The
Yes.
slave trade was
Yes.
all over the place. In the Middle
It
East,
was all over. All over. Yeah.
the Arab slave trade went on for 100 years before the European slave trade started. And what are we going to do with that particular issue? Okay,
Hmm.
so
Hmm. Hmm.
so if anything, we have been dispossessed, and all we've been trying to do is to regain our dignity and humanity ever since.
True.
And when we were able to make major accomplishments, like with the building of Black Wall Street in Tulsa, or
Yes.
or Hayti in Raleigh, Durham, North Carolina, or Rosewood in
Hmm.
Florida, and other
Hmm.
similar types of situations that we were able to pull together and create our own
Yeah.
self-sufficient communities, then we
Hmm.
suffered a backlash, a violent backlash to the fact that we were building self-sufficiency.
Right.
You
Right.
know,
Right. Right.
and Jessica Gordon Nimhard points that out in Collective Courage, that we had a collective courage. That's the title of the book. Okay,
Collective
to
courage. Hmm.
actually come out of the Holocaust of enslavement and attempt to rebuild a sense of community and self-sufficiency and self-determination. And because we had the
Right.
audacity to do that, we suffered a violent backlash.
I understand. Yeah.
Okay,
That's true. I mean, that's documented. I mean, it's true. I mean, it's nothing. It's not a theory. It's This is reality. This is
this
fact.
is a reality.
So that's I'm with you. I think it's so important that we are very intentional about making sure that the right information is getting out. Like I said, I know the 1619 project just created a real ripple through our country. And then here comes the stumbling block, this critical race theory, which is some trumped up stuff that they are using for propaganda, and trying to get legislations all over the country to keep
Right.
really from African American history being taught in schools.
Well,
That's really what it relates to.
right. And
So I pray.
this is an
Go ahead.
overtly political attack on African-centered education.
Yes,
Um,
exactly,
there was
exactly.
there was a subtle attack on African-centered education when people started advocating multiculturalism.
Okay, right. Okay,
Because
okay, okay.
multiculturalism was a softer approach to recognizing the plurality of the rich fabric of that exists here in the United States. Okay,
Yes,
but
yes.
what Black studies and African-centered education did was to make sure that we were included in all of that from the beginning.
Right,
Okay?
right, right.
What had begun to happen was that European scholars and European educational institutions and the European Euro-centered academy uh, began to put forth this narrative that they were the priority, they were the primary movers of civilization and history,
Hmm.
which was nowhere near the truth. which
Right,
was why,
right, right, right.
Carter G. Woodson and his colleagues began to make sure that the real information was out there. People like J.A. Rogers, Joel
Yes,
Augustus
yes.
Rogers,
Mm-hmm.
and the work he did, uh,
Mm-hmm.
which stands the test of time today. His book,
Right.
Africa's Gift to America, is
Mm-hmm.
one of a major source of a lot of this information. Um,
I hear you. I hear you.
Chancellor Williams'
Well,
discussion
Johnson,
about
man,
civilization. These are
yes,
all
indeed.
uh, these are all major efforts to make sure that we are placed back at the center of the narrative of the development of civilization and history.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Well, Johnson Lancaster, man, it has been. I feel like I've been in the classroom, which I knew it was going to be this kind of situation, and I thank you so much because, brother, you are a wealth of knowledge just by yourself, but there's a team of you all. There's a community of you all from Progressive that I just admire and have admired for a long time, man. And hoping that we will be able to engage with you all again in the Empower Room somehow or another as well. And with just like with the various names that you dropped today, the books that you have shared with us today, are those available through Progressive Emporium? Are people able to get a hold of those titles from you and learn more about some of the people that you mentioned at Progressive Emporium?
You go to the website progressiveemporiumstl.com, and it's there. And you can also, if you don't see what you're looking for, you can also call us or send us an email. Our telephone number is 314-875-9277. Our email is progressiveemporium@yahoo.com. You did mention
All
the
right.
fact that this is not a solitary enterprise.
Yeah.
We are in fact a cooperative of 30 families, and these 30 families, which numerically come to about over 100 people,
Mhm.
have been working together on the same page with the same mission since 1971.
Wow. That's awesome.
We're
That's awesome.
entering
That's
we're entering 50 years of work together.
awesome.
And
Awesome. That's beautiful.
we have children of our members who have grown up in this, who
Right.
who
Right.
have developed,
Outstanding.
we have we have we have pursued the development of an African frame of reference. Okay.
Awesome. Awesome.
And that African frame of reference has reverberated across not just the St. Louis metropolitan area, but all over the country. Uh,
Okay.
and and we're very proud of that. Um, the 30 families that make up the cooperative that owns and operates Progressive Emporium and Education Center uh,
Hmm.
have been steadfast in wanting to create an environment for our people that reflects who we are, speaks to us culturally, and is something that we can pass on from our generation to the next and the
That's
generations after
wonderful.
that.
That's
And this
wonderful.
is where in the reestablishment of our hallmarks of civilization, this is where the real work uh, has been placed, uh, and we've done that from a educational, a social, economic, and political perspective that is grounded in African self-determination.
So it sounds to me it's a daily process of building. The daily process of building. To
Yes, it
me,
is.
that's what I'm hearing.
We've been
That's what
able
I'm
to
hearing.
assemble uh, not just artists and poets and musicians, craftspeople, but writers and engineers, um,
Awesome. Awesome.
social workers, counselors, um,
Awesome. Awesome.
and political thinkers uh,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
who who are inspiring generations coming after us, and they are now pursuing what their work in order to make their mark as we try to move off the stage, so to speak.
Understand.
Um,
Understand. 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 That's outstanding. Well, man, Johnson Lancaster, man, thank you so much from Progressive Emporium Education Center. And actually, now, I don't know if you know, but if you just put in Progressive Emporium Education Center, you all pop up on the website too, on the internet. It'll pop up just like that too. So that's wonderful.
Let
Progressive
me just
Emporium.
say
Go
this
ahead.
one last thing. We have at our disposal. I'm talking about Black people all over the world now have at our disposal the technology,
Right.
okay, to
Right.
leverage our collective efforts, okay,
Hmm.
and it behooves us to take advantage of that technology. The
True.
internet is coming into its own, but there's the emergence of blockchain and cryptocurrency technologies within the
True.
last 12 years, and they
Hmm.
have the blockchain and cryptocurrency technology have the potential to transform the economies of our communities and the nations and countries that we are in control of. Um, the United States wouldn't be the United States had it not been for the ending of the French colonial experience in the United States by the Haitians who fought a revolution on Haiti. The very fact that they were able to beat
Okay.
Napoleon's army, they didn't just beat Napoleon's army, they beat the British, the
Mm-hmm.
Spanish, the Dutch, and the Polish. They beat 5 armies, the Haitians did. Okay. But the real
Okay.
significance is that the Louisiana Purchase would not have happened without the Haitian Revolution. Okay. That Napoleon needed to raise money because he wanted to reinvade Haiti after the French had been kicked out by the Black people that
Okay.
successfully liberated the island. Uh, and he came to the United States and offered to sell them land that he didn't really own,
Understand.
although he controlled it. Um, and they were able to make a deal for
Mm-hmm.
$15 million. Now, 3 European merchant banks took
Mm.
6 million of it in fees because they financed it. They sold the paper that the United States used to go into debt to buy the Louisiana
I see.
Purchase from France. And so Napoleon Bonaparte had 9 million after the transaction, and he was going to use that 9 million to reinvade Haiti. But Toussaint Louverture and Jean-Jacques Dessalines and
Mm.
Henri Christophe and Cecily and Boukman and all the other uh, stalwarts of the Haitian Revolution had other plans, and they were able to beat the French not once but twice, and then they were able to beat the Spanish. And when they did that, they unified the island. Are we having technical difficulties now?
All right. Well, thank you all so much. I wanted to continue the conversation. I'm so grateful for Johnson being on with us today. We've had some technical difficulties, which I'm not surprised by one reason or another. And looks like he's back. All right.
Some technical difficulties there for a minute.
All right. Okay. We had a little connection issue, look like. Okay. Sorry about that. All right. So, if you want to sum up what you were saying?
What I was saying was, in light of what happened in the Haitian Revolution and in light of what is happening today in Haiti, Okay, I
Mm,
don't know if people
mhm.
under if people are paying attention, but the president of Haiti was assassinated about a week and a half ago.
Right, right.
Um, uh,
I think
Jovenel,
just last week.
and
Yeah,
so now Haiti's in chaos again.
right, right.
Uh, but people need to place in context what is happening in Haiti.
Okay.
Haiti has not recovered from the international boycott that was placed on Haiti after they successfully beat back European colonialism.
Mm,
Okay, and then we had a U.S. intervention because they didn't want Haiti becoming another Cuba, where you had a strong Caribbean nation that stood up to the United States. So,
okay.
so Haiti's been under an economic blockade and political meddling ever since, pretty much ever since the revolution.
Right,
The
right.
United States invaded in 1915 and took over the island. And then subsequently, there have been a series of dictatorships and an attempt at democracy. Uh,
Hmm.
there's a book by Wade Nobles called, what is that book? It's called The Island of Mems, which is the subtitle is The Unfinished Revolution in Haiti. And we need to be able to understand what those implications are, not just for the Haitians, but for Africans in the diaspora, because the
Right.
Haitian Revolution was inspirational in our fight for freedom over here. It inspired
Mm,
liberation movements here in the United States. And one of the most significant ones was the Knights of Liberty, which had
mm,
47,000 members, and the Knights of Liberty were in 12 states. And when the United
mm,
States went to Civil War, the Knights of
mm,
Liberty continued their work on the Underground Railroad. And then
mm,
when black troops were allowed to fight on the side of the Union, the Knights of Liberty
mm,
joined the Union as a group. They didn't tell the U.S. Army what was going on, but they knew what was happening, and they coordinated their efforts.
mm.
Uh,
Right.
so, and they got inspiration from the Haitian Revolution. So
Interesting. Interesting.
we really need to be very concerned about what is happening in Haiti and the implications
Right. And
for us.
indeed, I thank you for sharing that in regard to what's been going on in Haiti. And I know personally, I've been definitely trying to keep an eye on it and keep an eye on it and seeing what is being said uh, and uh, and trying to discern what's really going on if we're gonna really get to the real root of what happened and that type of thing. But I'm deeply concerned with what is taking place in Haiti for sure, and
You'll
we'll
find the hidden
definitely
hand. You'll find the hidden hand of the
take it
United
down.
States. You'll find the hidden hand of
Right.
the United States.
I hear you. I hear you. That's what I've been hearing. That's what I've been hearing. So we will definitely be keeping a close eye on that for sure. So again, Johnson Lancaster, man, thank you so much again for coming and being with us in the Empower Room today. This has been some very empowering information, man. Thank you so much. And again, for those that want to get more information, a Progressive Emporium Educational Center. Their website is Progressive Emporium St. Louis.com. And their phone number is 314-875-9277. They're located at 1108 North Sarah Street in St. Louis, Missouri. Man, and thank you so much again, Johnson. You know I got to have you back, so we're gonna have to do a part two. All right, so just get ready.
It would be my pleasure. Thank you for having
All
me.
right, all right, definitely, man. All right, blessings to all of the cohorts within Progressive Emporium too. I want to thank them also for what they do as well, and all of y'all. Thank you all so much for what you all contribute to our community. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. Okay. God bless. All
All
right.
right.
All right. All right. Well, we have been blessed with an outstanding guest today, Johnson Lancaster. Man, I've just got goosebumps from his from our dialogue, and I'm just sitting back taking notes. Hope you were too. He's very knowledgeable young man. I've known for quite a while, and just to be able to sit at his feet and to hear the history of African American experience in America, across the world, across the diaspora. It's just phenomenal to be able to hear that from him in the way that definitely how he shared today and how he does on the regular. Because when I was there in St. Louis, we were sitting back and chopping it up, and I mean he was just imparting wisdom to me then in that conversation, just the two of us. So I just want to thank him again so much, and Progressive Emporium for what you all have poured into the community since your time before the U City Loop. I didn't realize that it had started before the Loop, so that's when I became familiar with Progressive Emporium when you guys were located in the U City Loop. So thank you for your commitment. To our community, and we wanted to lift up one of our things that we're doing this month or through the summer, if you will, is lifting up young people who have graduated from high school. And I wanted to share a video of a young man that's sharing his story in regard to him graduating from high school. And his name is Jayden, and out of St. Louis. And I wanted to just play the video that he shared with us, and I hope that you will be inspired and empowered by what he says in regard to his experience of graduating from high school.
Okay, so today we meet with my son, Jayden McKell Clements. And I was told to ask a few questions of him. And it's ironic that he's in the room that he did most of his school year in the same area, pretty much the bed or the desk or the chair. So I wanted to ask you today, Jayden, um, how are you? How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good meaning doing okay, doing all right.
I'm happy that I finally graduated.
Uh,
It's definitely been a long 4 years. I'm glad that's done with.
okay. Yeah, I can attest. Been there with you most all four of them. Okay. Well, how was school during the COVID period for you? We'll start off with that.
It was definitely a unique experience.
Mhm.
It's it's just different. It's just different not going to school every day. Putting your clothes on, walking out the door, catching a bus, hanging out with your classmates and stuff. It was just different. Being stuck in the house for the most part for probably like I don't know 7 to 9 months.
Mhm.
It was definitely unique. It was a different experience.
Yeah, something you never thought you'd actually go through, huh?
Nah, nobody would ever seen this coming.
The socialization aspect had to be hard, not being able to be with your friends. Okay. So, my next question then, how does it feel to be a high school graduate?
I'm happy. Like I said earlier, I'm glad these 4 long years are over with. I feel like I got some free time on my hands. Plus, the world's starting to open back up a little bit. I can finally see my friends and stuff again. I feel good overall.
Well, that's good, yeah, because I know some people couldn't take it. I've seen on the news where there's been murder, suicide. Some people just really could not take. We are a social creature, beings, and some people just could not take being in the house like that. You've seen alcohol and drug addiction on the rise, just different things like that, mental health issues. So, yeah, I got to commend you. Yeah, I know it got kind of hard for you. It had to, but you hung in there. So, got to commend you for that. Let's see. Well, tell me this. How instrumental were your parents in reaching this goal in your high school graduation?
My parents were very instrumental, especially my mother. Like after the graduation ceremony was done, I hugged afterwards. She started crying. She was proud. She was proud of me for hanging in there, especially during a time like this.
Mm-hmm. You
Plus
think so?
Yeah. Plus, a lot of people don't get the chance to graduate, so I'm glad that I got to seize the opportunity. I have to make my parents proud.
Yeah, I'm sure they're very proud of you. I can attest to that. Very, very uber proud of you. Well, tell me, what are your future plans since you're out of high school now and you're going into this big bright world?
Well, short-term plans, I think I'm taking a gap year as far as like college and stuff. That way I can find out what I want to do in life.
A gap year, you said?
A gap year.
Okay, so take a little time off to yourself.
Yeah, to find myself, to see what I want to do in the future. But long term, I'm thinking real estate though. I want
Real
houses.
estate.
I want to buy cheap houses and fix them up and sell them.
Oh, kind of like the flip your house type things. I've
Exactly.
seen shows like that where so you buy a cheap home and or a fixer upper, basically a home that's in disarray, that's kind of messed up,
Exactly.
torn up, and then you go in. So how do you presume to do that? You have any money saved or?
I got a little bit of money saved, but I'm gonna definitely need more if I buy multiple houses.
So you'll start with one, see how that works. You have a crew you're going to work with? You have any friends or family that are interested in doing it with you as well?
So far, it's just me. I don't really know too many people that's interested in real estate like me. I do have teachers and stuff that used to be in that field. They've been guiding me, tell me advice and stuff.
Okay, so that's what I was going to ask you. Where did you come up with that idea? Because that's kind of unique for an 18-year-old to think about, getting into houses and flipping them and selling them for more later and actually already saving money for it.
Well, actually, I've been in my real estate since I was probably about either 15 or 16. Because things are like this. The rent, from what I've been told, rent is like your most expensive bill. And that's what a lot of people put their money into. Because nobody wants to be homeless, right? So the way I look at it is that if you on the other side of the fence and you own houses, that's a lot of money that you getting from people. That's money that you can use to buy things you want or buy other houses and keep generating more money over time. Plus, a lot of millionaires say that's a huge way of getting all their money is real estate, owning properties like houses, buildings.
I know. Did you say you had teachers that told you about it?
Yeah, when I was at STEAM High, I had a couple of business teachers that kind of had their own. That they used to be in that field a little bit, but my social studies teacher, he used to really be part of the real estate field. But the thing is, he said he kind of quit during 2008 because he said that's when the house market had crashed. So he just focused on being a teacher after that happened.
Oh, yeah, it did. I was wondering, I'm like, because if it was that lucrative, how did he end up becoming a teacher as opposed to selling properties? But yeah, I remember that, and it was bad. He's not lying. I'm telling you. The market crashed. So had to find something else to do to eat. So I understand that.
Yeah.
Well, you sound like a nice young gentleman that has his head on straight, and I appreciate you taking time to do this interview with me today. And I hope and pray, blessings to you going forward in your future endeavors, and hope you find everything you want to do in life. I mean, you're young right now. I'm sure you're going to explore a lot of options before you actually settled in on exactly what you want to do. But take your time. I just offer, that you stay focused, you stay God driven, and keep your hand in God's hands, and everything will play out. Everything will work itself out like it's supposed to. Thank you again. This is Jayden McKell Clemens, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.
All
Okay,
right.
so today we meet with my
Interview. I'm so grateful for that spotlight that we were able to do for Jayden there in St. Louis, 2021 graduate from high school. And hey, he's talking about going into real estate. Okay, 18 years old. All right. So we have a lot going on in our community, good and troubling as well. But I think we just need to continue to keep hope alive, keep moving forward, keep pressing forward, keeping the faith, hope, keeping God first, and I guarantee you we are going to be all right. Amen. All right, all right. Well, we want to thank you all so much for being with us here in the Empower Room today. We did go a little longer, but with the special guest of Johnson Lancaster, I knew it was going to be a rich conversation, and I did not want to cut him off at all. And pray that you were blessed by the conversation that we have with Johnson Lancaster, Progressive Emporium Educational Center there in St. Louis, and definitely make sure you reach out to them. Again, their website is Progressive Emporium St. Louis.com. I also put in Progressive Emporium Education Center, and they also come up on the website as well. So feel free to check them out. For those of y'all in St. Louis, they also do shipping too. So if you need something shipped from another city, I'm sure they will be more than happy to be able to honor your request. So do keep them in mind. I definitely plan to have them back again to share more, impart more wisdom and knowledge on us as it relates to the African American diaspora. If you are African diaspora outside of Africa, out of America, too, because they're very knowledgeable of what is happening to people of color, African Americans and Africans all over the world. So grateful again for him being with us today. And do keep in mind that you are able to check Empower Media out on our website. Which is Empower Media LLC1.com. We do also have a Twitter page, and feel free to go to at LLC MPWR. Our Instagram is Empower Media LLC. And we also have just launched a Patreon page as well, where you are able to become part of the Empower Generation. And if you go to that page, you'll be able to see what we have available there on our Empower Generation page through Patreon that we have started and launching at this time. And we have our Examiner Quarterly magazine. This is our second issue. This is available on there in e-version for those who would like to join the Empowering Generations group that we have created. Also, I have a book, self-published in the blink of an eye, that is available on Amazon, and you're able to find out more about that on our website, Empower Media LLC1.com, and go to the store page, and it'll take you straight to Amazon if you're interested in purchasing this book. It is an outstanding uplift from what we have been hearing from the responses in relation to an experience that I had on February 14, 2014, taking my wife out for Valentine's Day. All right. So I pray that you have an opportunity to check that out as well. All right. So we look forward to having you all back again in a couple of weeks, and before that we may even have a special edition show that will be hitting. We're doing a summer series special edition in the middle of the week, and we're working on getting that all set up, so probably in a couple of weeks we'll be able to get that off and running, and excited about the conversation that will be had on our first summer edition of Empowering Moments that we want to do during the week. So I pray that you all have a blessed rest of the day. Thank you for joining us. Please like our page, leave a comment, let us know your thoughts and what your in regard to our guest today, and send words of celebration to Jayden on his graduating from high school. Is going to be a future real estate mogul. So let's just lift him up in prayer and pray that all works out for him. And want to thank his mom for interviewing as well, Lyric. We thank you so much for providing us with that interview. You did an outstanding job. I'm gonna have to put you on the payroll. Okay. So thank you so much. All right. God bless you. Have a good rest of the day. And don't forget to do something. All right. God bless.